Well, hello. My name's Orit Krug, and I'd like to tell you a little bit more about what my team and I actually do. So, while we call ourselves embodiment coaches, we are all trained and experienced dance movement therapists. So, together we have over 40 years' experience in psychiatric facilities working intensively with clients with trauma who've attempted to end their lives with what Western world calls mental illness. And now we work with women online who really want to heal that old trauma from their bodies so that they can enjoy a deep, loving, lasting relationship with their partner. So, in terms of what exactly we do, I'm going to say this offhand, like right from the start, is our clients have repeatedly called what they've experienced, their transformation with us, as magical. Now, I know that kind of sounds airy fairy, but honestly, that word keeps coming up because the process is so magical, it's hard to describe. And what happens through the healing of your trauma, through body, through movement, through expressing yourself through dance, it is honestly magical. And there is literally no one way I can tell you this happens because it looks different for everyone. One person might want to get comfortable expressing anger by being a barking dog or a roaring cat on the floor, while another one really feels their weight pushing into the ground, stomping, having an impact onto the ground. So I'm going to do my best to draw a picture for you, but I want you to know from the start that your process is going to be completely unique to you, depending on what comes from your subconscious and into your body and through movement. So the first and foremost thing that we do is help you connect to your body, because this is where your trauma is stored. So when we get to connect to your body safely and gently, we access the nonverbal subconscious, which is where your trauma is being stored. This is the part of your brain that no amount of talking, no amount of energy work, or even some types of body-centered approaches can access this trauma from this place. And that's why this actually works. So once we access your trauma, we work with you. We, through our relationship, work to regulate all the reactions or responses that are coming up in your body so that you can rewire your nervous system. So as you connect to your body for the first time in a long time, or perhaps forever, in this way that we guide you, that we actually move with you, it's stirring up this old trauma. Now, usually what happens in your day-to-day life, like with your partner, for example, is they've left the milk out on the counter again, and you have, this is an example, you have a reaction and you're like, why can't you help me? And it feels really, really intense. So what's being stirred up in that moment of the situation with your partner is old trauma. Because if it was just a regular frustration, it wouldn't be so intense. It wouldn't be such a reaction. The same thing happens when you connect to your body through our relationship in session, except there's no fighting really going on. There's no real conflict going on, but because you're connecting to your body, the same sensations will be stirred up. And instead of you having a reaction, a fight, flight, freeze, or shutdown reaction like you usually do in your day-to-day life, because we are trained and skilled and experienced in movement analysis and movement behavior pattern analysis, we can see your micro movements, your micro body language that's telling us that something is happening. You're getting dysregulated. And before you get to that point of getting dysregulated, we help you regulate, we help you move. So we give your body the experience that even though I feel this fear, I can work through it. I can move through it. And you're giving your body an experience of being in this mobilization, this activated, mobilized state, but without the fear, without the yelling, without the negative behaviors that are currently happening in your relationship. And that's going to be unique to you, whatever way that works for you to regulate and move through it. And through that process over and over again, your body is building new neural pathways for the very first time that are helping you to stop reacting and to respond instead. And that's why this really works. And that's why when people say, "Ooh, I don't know if that's going to work for me," I call BS, because if you're a human, you have a nervous system and you have the capacity, just like everyone else, no matter what you've been through, to build new neural pathways. It's just not impossible for you, no matter how much you've tried. The problem isn't that your body is incapable of building those new neural pathways. It's just that you haven't done the right things yet. So as we build these new neural pathways, rewire your nervous system, then you get to learn these new ways of being. So every movement that we do has every movement represents a different behavior, a different way of expressing yourself. So, for example, if you want to be more heard, if you want to be able to stand your ground and assert yourself in your relationship instead of freezing up, not only do you have to rewire your nervous system, because first you have to break that habit of your nervous system getting into that freeze reaction, but you also have to teach your body that physical behavior. There is absolutely, it's just such a waste of time to keep talking about how you want to behave differently, what you want to do differently, because you're just doing it from here, when really your body is the vehicle from which you interact and behave. So your body needs to learn those physical behaviors, those movements, in order to actually carry it out easily in your relationship. And that's what we do. We try it on. We do different movements. It sometimes looks like a dance. It sometimes just looks like really intentional, different kind of movement. And, if you want to be able to dance and be free and let loose, like, that's just an awesome side effect of doing this work. But that's, of course, not the point. So then once you learn all the ways that you can express yourself, we do that through relationship. You try on all these new ways of being through our relationship first, so that you master it together, so your body understands and really experiences, okay, it's safe for me to speak up. It's safe for me to take up space. It's safe for me to be strong or be direct. Once we do that in relationship, then it is going to be so easy. It's just a breeze to bring that out into your relationship in your real life. And that's why it is so deeply transformational, and it actually lasts, because we're not just hypothesizing about how you can change. You're actually changing through our relationship, with your coach or with the group that you're in, through those relationships. If you're doing group work with us, that it actually works. So it can only be done in relationship, because as human beings, we have to learn how to calm ourselves down and regulate our nervous system through relationship. This is obvious, as we have seen children throwing a 30-minute tantrum from being upset and not being able to calm themselves down. And the reason that happens is because they never had a parent who could model that for them, who could co-regulate with them, so that they built the capacity to calm themselves down. So if you still have trauma from a young age, or even a few years ago, you kind of have to restart that process. You can't just do it on your own. You can't just DIY rewiring your nervous system. That's not physiologically possible. So this has to happen in relationship to rewire your nervous system and build these new patterns. And it might sound like a lot of work. It might sound like, whoa, like that sounds like a lot. But honestly, it only takes 4 months, if you put all the effort in, if you put all that work, in really engaging in this process. And by putting effort and putting the work in, I don't mean that it's a really heavy, hard suffering process. Just because you've suffered or been through suffering does not mean you have to suffer to be happy again. It's actually a really fun, freeing, beautiful, magical process that you go through, even though it's profound, it's deep, it's transformational. It is an enjoyable process to engage in and to feel yourself changing and to see your partner and your family see yourself being like this completely new woman. That's a pretty common piece of feedback, is like my partner is like, did you do something different? It's like, yeah, I released my trauma. So yeah, it's your process of healing your trauma. It should work, it should last, and it shouldn't be so heavy. You shouldn't have to talk about the same old memories, the same old trauma over and over and over again, ripping them apart, opening up these wounds without actually doing anything about that. That is just so dreadful, and it doesn't even work. So why go through that pain? The process with dance movement therapy. So basically, we are embodiment coaches, but we do our work strictly from a dance movement therapy lens. So the process, I forgot what I was going to say. But it is amazing. It's magical. It works. I went through it myself. I wasted 3 years in talk therapy. I mean, it wasn't a complete waste. I definitely gained some insight, but in terms of changing my behaviors and saving my relationship, being a client of dance therapy absolutely changed my life, my relationship forever. And if you want to see if this work is right for you and understand the exact steps that you need to take in order to heal your trauma and save your relationship and become happy and confident and free in your body, then please, I invite you to book a free and obligation-free relationship review with me or my team, and we will discern if this work is right for you. And even if it doesn't feel right, you will get the exact steps that you need to take, because you are unique. You have a unique body. Your trauma is unique, and the way that you've stored it is unique. Did I say the word unique enough times? But seriously, you need to go through your own unique process through healing your trauma and saving your relationship. So we will map out those exact steps, regardless if you move forward with working with us or not. So again, click on the link below, above, or to the side, depending on where you're watching. And please book a free and obligation-free call with us. And we cannot wait to chat with you. Bye.